Okay, so I want to address some comments left on a previous video, no to firearms training requirements. I'm going to start off by saying nowhere in that video did I ever suggest that these should be treated as if they're simple children's toys. In fact, nowhere on my channel have I ever suggested we disregard the firearm safety rules, handling a firearm safely, or even getting training on firearms. What was said in this video was that we should not have firearms training as a barrier to firearm ownership, meaning that you shouldn't have to have a certain training requirements prior to being able to legally own a firearm. That was what was stated. And yet there you are making a false dichotomy by saying that because I'm opposed to the mandate of training, that I'm somehow against safe firearm handling or even firearms training. Not the case. And given that you said that you were a Western farmer who's literally grown up around guns, which, given everything you said in the comments, I have a hard time believing that. But given what you said, how is it that you were able to get it without mandatory firearms training requirements, and yet everybody else just can't? Riddle me that. It's kind of funny because I've heard a whole bunch of people who've literally grown up around firearms who seem to think that nobody else can get it, or very few other people can get it. Imagine that. Yeah, there are several different types of firearm owners. There are several different types of firearms, several different types of reasons why someone might own one or many firearms. There are gun controllers that capitalize on this and try to do the divide and conquer strategy, where they say, well, we're not opposed to you having your deer rifle. We're just opposed to this person over here having their AR-15 or something along that lines. And it is this divide and conquer strategy, which will be what they use to slowly but surely chip away at our legal ability to own firearms. You know? So, yeah. And if you don't believe that will happen, just look at the people in Australia, look at the people in the UK, look at what the Canadians are going through. Yeah. Over 20 years ago, when I was in the UK, I talked to somebody who was a World War II veteran. He was a legal gun owner there, no criminal record, didn't really put up any opposition to any firearm laws that they proposed over the years, and yet this guy was upset. The police were talking about revoking his license or not renewing his license for his bolt action rifle. And he didn't see why that was the case. He wasn't a criminal. He wasn't deranged. Why were the police targeting him? And this is exactly what I want to prevent here in this country. And the way we prevent this is by not having more firearm laws. In fact, the way we prevent this is by going against that and pushing back and even repealing many of these firearm laws on the books. You know? And you know who happens to be a barrier to that? You know what type of mentality happens to be a barrier to that? This FUD mentality. You know, the people who have a problem with, say, somebody owning a rifle like this, so long as they get to keep their rifle like this. Well, I'll tell you, once they get the rifles in the former category banned, they're not going to stop there. They're not going to stop with stuff like universal background checks, which shouldn't be in place to begin with. In fact, quite frankly, we don't have a background check system in place for, it seems like, anything but firearms, explosives, and that sort of thing. You know, you want to really know who's going to be the death of firearm culture, it is the FUD class of people. Why? Gun controllers are never, ever, ever going to give you their approval. They're not. We've had plenty of cases of where that has been the case. I've done a video some time ago about a woman in Massachusetts who jumped through all the hoops to get her gun legally, and her roommates still weren't satisfied with that. Look at California. They passed gun laws, just passed gun laws. Look at Chicago, some of the more restrictive gun laws in the country, and they still keep on saying that we need more. There's going to be no end to that. So, yeah, while there are certain firearm owners that have no problem with new firearm laws, or even some of them might support new firearms restrictions, that's what I am trying to break. That is the mentality I am trying to change. And people like me are trying to change this mentality, because it is a mentality that will lead to us becoming more like Australia, more like Japan, more like the UK in the sense of our freedom to own firearms. And not only that, but even the laws that are being proposed now are bad laws. And there are a lot of laws we have on the books that need to go. And this is what I was stating. One of the things I was trying to make a point about in that previous video is we should not have that particular law, the mandate to have firearms training prior to being able to legally own a firearm. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up here, guys. Those of y'all been watching to this long, thank y'all for watching. You have the comments section below. Y'all take it easy out there and have a great day.